My mother is protesting my Wiccan wedding. Good afternoon. I'm kind of at a loss here. I'm engaged currently to my fiancé, and my mother has stated that she is not coming to my wedding. I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian community in the South. My mother and stepfather are Baptist, and I honestly just became really disillusioned with the faith. I moved to college out of state for my sophomore year and moved in with a girl I went to school with, who is now my best friend / maid of honor. Her and I started practicing in the Wiccan faith about 4 years ago. It helped me move out of my comfort zone. While I was a shy, fiery introverted person with crippling social anxiety, I have found myself much more outgoing in the years since. That's another reason I'm having a Wiccan wedding. My mother has never supported my faith practices, as she considers them dark and degenerate. She blames them for me losing my virginity, she blames them for me having a girlfriend at one point, and she blames them for guiding me away from God. I have tried to have educated discussions about it with her. She only hears her side and not much else. When I invited her initially, she said she would think about it. If I were a bigger person, I would have just let it go and let her pout. But there is still a little girl in me that very much wants her mother at her wedding. I asked my mom one more time if she would come, and I expressed to her that I really wanted her there. She simply stated that I love you, but it is against the church, and I won't have any part of it. I hate that sometimes my mouth works faster than my brain, and I told her, well, it was probably against the church too when you were cheating on Dad. Listen, when I was in high school, my mom had a pretty lengthy affair with the man that's now my stepdad. Despite this, I never really held any of that against either of them. I think it was horrible, but I was able to get past it. I definitely didn't like having a stepbrother, but we made it work. Speaking of stepbrothers, my older stepbro, who is also in the wedding, has gone to his dad and my mom, whom he can't stand, and pleaded with them to go to my wedding. My stepdad agreed that he would go, but my mom won't budge. Be real here, have I lost my mother? Is there anything I can do to at least maintain a stable relationship? As much as she infuriates me, I do love her, and would like to maintain a relationship with her. However, I want her to also understand that this is my life and I need to be able to live it. What can I do to further aid in illustrating my point? Comment. That kind of shit is what people like your mother need to hear, honestly. But it won't go anywhere. I vote cutting her out. She sounds awful, and when someone like that thinks they have something like a church behind them, all you will ever get is frustration. They do not know how to be rational or fair. She's a hypocrite who hated being called out on it. OP, family is more than biology or blood. It's who sticks by you, makes you feel loved and has your back no matter what. I'm not saying to cut her off, but genuinely evaluate your relationship and decide if it's healthy for you for her to be in your life. If she is and you have kids, will she try and indoctrinate them? Try to manipulate you or them? Or even flat out ignore them unless you go back to her faith? I hope she comes around, but if not, it's time to decide if she's worth having in your life. Congratulations on the wedding, and good luck. Don't make anything of it. The best way to cope with people like that, is to stop expecting anything from them. Don't waste your brain power trying to make sense of their motivations because there is no sense to be made. They don't respect you. You are not obligated to respect them. I'm not saying you need to be disrespectful. I'm just saying you don't need to put in the effort to exist in their presence. They don't add any kind of value to your life. They just take and make you miserable. Seriously, I struggled with thoughts like, my mom made me a nice breakfast once a month. She made me breakfast at all, once a month. Feeding your kids is the bare minimum of parenting. It's the type of thing your parents can lose custody for not doing. Also, I was usually grounded for existing by the end of the day. I was just stating that this is my view. I'm not confident that Op's mom is necessarily a certified narcissist because a lot of symptoms of different conditions can overlap. Narcissism seemed the most straightforward way to identify my situation, but I recently learned it could also be CPTSD. They react similarly to criticism and getting called out. Either way, people need to work their own shit out and not drag everyone down with them. They want help and get it, or they don't. There is the saying, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. Here, you are dragging a kicking horse that would rather die of dehydration and potentially kill you in the process because you had the audacity to suggest that a basic necessity of survival might be a good idea to try. Pointing to the water is more than enough. They can see it. It's not the point. There's no magic spell, no joke intended, to make her come around. If she cares more about her religion than your relationship with her, there's nothing you can do to change that except make it clear that you're open to her if she's willing to be accepting, and wait and hope she comes around. One thing is, do not allow her to pretend you're not married once you are. If she invites you to Thanksgiving dinner or something, make it clear your wife will be coming and be respected, or you won't be coming either. Same if you have kids in the future, the requirement for having a regular relationship with her grandkids will be treating their parents with acceptable and respect. Your mother is a religious conservative Baptist. I don't know why you find it shocking she doesn't want to attend a Wiccan wedding. Also, many of those types are very hypocritical, like your mother having an affair, getting divorced, I'm assuming, and marrying her affair partner. I don't think you should do anything. Ignore her. She might like the attention, or she is just doing it for who knows what reason. Keep going with your wedding planning and with the wedding. No, you haven't lost a mother. She might not go to your wedding because she made a big statement about it. But she also sounds like a hypocrite. So she'll probably backtrack on her principles in a 1YRS time at most. Especially if you have kids. She won't get the grandma experience from the stepson who can't stand her. You likely won't get an apology, but if you are fine with a rug-sweeping nice relationship with your mom, just wait it out. You can love your mom all you want and accept her for who she is, which, as you noted, is a hypocrite as to when she applies those Bible teachings and when she doesn't. Pretty much rules for thee but not for me. I think your brain and mouth worked just fine for calling her on her hypocrisy. So it would seem if you want your mother at your wedding, then you don't get the wedding you want. I personally would go with the wedding I want that represents me. Your mother can decide if she will accompany her husband to your wedding or not. Her decision and her loss if she doesn't come. Story 2. How does my ex see my recent reappearances in her life? When she knows I still have feelings for her. I'm just trying to find some perspective. I have deep feelings for an ex that I hurt, now a long time ago. She is not the one that got away, she is the one I pushed away out of self-doubt. Why? Well, the short story is I had a lot more demons left over from previous relationships to confront. When they popped up, I became distant, in my head to keep her safe, because my mind was at war with itself. When it ended, which neither of us really wanted it to, I quickly jumped into another relationship, to distract me. Eventually I woke up, over a year later, and it was like I woke up without her. Since then I've been going to therapy, pulling apart a disassociative state I was in, and I've following passions and growth without the fear I once had. The problem is, because we are so similar, I keep crossing paths with her. We go to the same activities center in town, we both joined a big club in the same week, my friend's local is the pub outside her flat. I keep appearing in her orbit, and sure, this wouldn't be a problem if I hadn't already tried to written to her, reaching out 3 times over the last year. First, when I woke, I was over-emotional, apologizing, and just asking to be friends, and return some stuff. The response was simply, I'm happy, I'm in a relationship, I don't want to reconnect. Second, after a few months of therapy and coming to understand I still had genuine feelings and intentions for her, not just born out of guilt and shame, so again emotionally charged. I said I was letting her go, but I asked her for a chance, one day when she's ready. No response, until weeks later she unfollowed me from Instagram. With these letters I attached a note saying, You are not obligated to read these, it's your choice. I understand they were not the right way to try and reform any sort of contact with her. To my shame. Lastly, and most recent, last month, when I saw her on dating apps. It was unexpected, and it made my heart race like nothing else. I sent her on Instagram the most sensible message I could. My friends agreed it was safe, even if a bit risky. Asking just to chat. She then blocked there, but just on that app, no others. I thought my feelings for her were fading, but it is still there. Whenever I see her I feel it. I sent her on Instagram the most sensible message I could. My friends agreed it was safe and considerate. Just asking just to chat and let the people we are now meet. She then blocked there, but just on that app, no others. I assume she knows I have feelings for her, but I know nothing of her say or perspective in this. Her silence and avoidance tells me she wants space from me. Which is why I check before any groups I join in, activities I know we share, if she is already a part of them. If she walks into a room I'm in, if I can I will go into a different one. I will never message her again, not approach her in person. We've stood in the same room and she has recognized me. I think I once saw he take a side exit instead of passing me at a main exit where I was talking with my friends. To bring it all home. I wish I could know more of what it is. I fear that she thinks I'm just trying to get in her way, that I'm trying to cross into her space and boundaries. She has said nothing directly to me in months. I don't expect her to. I've made peace with the fact we probably will never reconnect in any way, as much as I still hold on to hope of it. I've been stalked by an ex who caused me great pain before, and I fear giving her the feelings that experience gave me. My friends who know about the situation and my therapist, understand my intentions, that I am trying to be considerate, that I am not aiming to be manipulative or play mind games, and I hope that is something people can see. I was just wondering if anybody has any perspective they could share of similar experiences from either side? How could she be interpreting all this? What could she be feeling about the situation or even me? What other steps can I take, to show that I am not pursuing her, so she doesn't think the worst of me? And anything else you might say that could have relevance. Final say, yes, I do love her, I want her to be safe and happy. Do I want to be a part of that? Of course, but I understand why I may ever not be. I am aware mostly I'm in love with memory, but from the parts I've seen of the person she is now, she is someone I would easily fall for again, and I think if it wasn't for the hurt I caused her in the past she'd think the same of me. Comment. While you look back fondly on her and the relationship, she doesn't. She sees it as a painful time that she doesn't want to revisit. She very simply wants to be left alone and allowed to move on with her life. Let her do that. No messages. No follows. If you are at the same party, ignore her. Don't even look at her. And focus on your mental health. Make sure you never become that kind of person again. You need to overcome a potential stalker image. Send her a heartfelt letter apologizing for all of your behaviors. Tell her what you have discovered in therapy and all things you've discovered since you were with her. Tell her how you've grown since your breakup. Don't get too sappy, just stick to truths. Then ask if you can take her on a date. Provide your phone number and beg for forgiveness. You may have pushed her too far away, but it's worth a try. You really hurt her bad breaking up the going out with someone so quickly. She probably doesn't trust you and may never forgive you.